U.S. Market Brief is here, sharp, short, and to the point. Subscribe now and like to support us and never miss a market move. Here are the brief highlights of today's top stories. Democrats dig in on healthcare as threat of government shutdown looms. OpenAI's spending spree is powering the tech industry. Oracle is the latest winner. Trump says he's ready to put major sanctions on Russia if NATO nations do the same. UnitedHealth soars but Berkshire's new stake may still be in the red. Global week ahead, from royal pomp to tech deals as Trump visits the UK. Tim Cook explains why Apple is investing heavily in Corning's glass factory. Apple, Google and Meta are trying to perfect a science fiction gadget, the universal translator. Inside the Panama Canal's mega-project plan to engineer its way through severe droughts of the future. Convenience stores are eating fast food chains' breakfast. Sachem Head is pushing for a performance food merger. Here's why a deal makes sense. Chinese EV players take fight to legacy European automakers on their home turf. From bananas to toys, these 5 charts show how much costs have risen since Trump's tariffs went into effect. $7 trillion, wall of cash worry is looming for investors once Fed interest rate cuts start. Week in review, how we navigated the strong market ahead of the big Fed meeting. This is Google Flight's #1 advice, always to score cheap airfare. Now, let's dive deeper into the details. Congressional Democrats are focusing on healthcare as a major point of contention in budget negotiations.
A government shutdown looms if an agreement is not reached.
Democratic leaders Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries have stated they will not support Republican funding legislation without certain healthcare provisions.
This sets up a difficult policy battle that could lead to a government shutdown.
Democrats demand any legislation to avoid a shutdown must extend Affordable Care Act tax credits, set to expire at the end of the year.
If these credits expire, average premiums could increase significantly, according to the nonpartisan research group KFF.
Most Americans with marketplace health plans currently benefit from these tax credits.
Democrats also want Republicans to reverse Medicaid cuts made in previous legislation.
OpenAI is significantly impacting the technology industry.
Oracle's stock surge this week highlights OpenAI's influence.
OpenAI's massive cloud computing spending is driving this trend.
Broadcom also saw a stock increase after securing a deal with OpenAI.
Microsoft and Nvidia have also benefited from their association with OpenAI.
These 4 companies have seen a combined market cap increase of over $4.5 trillion since late 2022.
This growth has contributed to the Nasdaq and Standard & Poor's 500 rallies.
However, OpenAI's influence has raised concerns among market experts.
Former President Donald Trump stated he is prepared to impose significant sanctions on Russia if North Atlantic Treaty Organization nations follow suit.
He indicated this action would be contingent on all North Atlantic Treaty Organization members halting oil purchases from Moscow.
Mr. Trump also called for North Atlantic Treaty Organization countries to implement tariffs on China ranging from 50 to 100%.
He suggested these tariffs could be lifted after the Russia-Ukraine war concludes.
Mr. Trump asserted that China holds considerable influence over Russia and that these tariffs could weaken that influence.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent expressed support for Mr. Trump's call for unified sanctions against China.
Mr. Trump has previously threatened sanctions against Russia but has not yet implemented them.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged allies to avoid seeking reasons to abstain from sanctions.
UnitedHealth Group shares have increased by almost 30% since Berkshire Hathaway disclosed its purchase of over 5 million shares.
This purchase occurred between April 1 and June 30.
Just before the disclosure, UnitedHealth closed at $271.49.
On Friday, it closed at $352.51.
While UnitedHealth was already recovering from its lowest close of the year, Berkshire's investment likely contributed to the recent gains.
It is unclear if Berkshire's investment is currently profitable.
The current price is only up 13% since the end of the second quarter.
The exact timing of Berkshire's purchase during the second quarter is unknown, making it difficult to determine the purchase price.
President Trump is visiting the United Kingdom next week.
This will be his second state visit to the United Kingdom.
On Wednesday, King Charles and Queen Camilla will greet President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump at Windsor Castle.
There will be a royal salute and carriage procession.
The president will lay a wreath at Queen Elizabeth II's tomb.
American F-35 jets and British Red Arrows will perform a flypast.
A state banquet with speeches from the King and President Trump will conclude the day.
On Thursday, President Trump will meet with Prime Minister Keir Starmer at Chequers.
Apple Chief Executive Officer Tim Cook explained to CNBC why Apple invested $2.5 billion in Corning.
The investment will support Corning's Kentucky factory in manufacturing glass for Apple products.
Cook expressed confidence in Corning, citing their innovation, cost, and quality.
Apple announced last month that this facility will manufacture all the glass for iPhones and Apple Watches.
Corning has supplied glass for iPhones since 2007.
Cook highlighted Corning's ceramic shield technology for its strength, thinness, and lightness.
Corning Chief Executive Officer Wendell Weeks stated the new ceramic shield is 50% stronger than the previous version.
Weeks also noted Apple's investment would increase the factory workforce by 50%.
Science fiction universal translators are becoming a reality.
Apple, Google, and Meta are developing real-time translation technology.
Apple showcased live translation for AirPods Pro 3 at its iPhone event.
This feature translates languages like Spanish, French, and German to English in real time.
Live translation will also be available for AirPods 4 and AirPods Pro 2.
Google's Pixel 10 phone offers voice translate for phone calls, preserving the speaker's voice.
Meta's Ray-Ban Meta glasses translate conversations through the device's speakers.
These advancements are driven by generative artificial intelligence.
The Panama Canal Authority is investing in new infrastructure after a severe drought impacted vessel traffic.
The canal relies on rainfall and uses a large amount of fresh water for its operations.
Recent droughts forced the canal to reduce transits and implement vessel weight restrictions to conserve water.
The Panama Canal is crucial for United States trade, handling about 73% of United States cargo containers.
The Canal Authority is developing a land bridge project, including a natural gas pipeline.
This pipeline will transport natural gas liquids between the Atlantic and Pacific coasts.
The project also includes a road and port terminals on both coasts.
The goal is to attract more liquefied natural gas transits and improve reliability.
Fast food restaurants are losing breakfast customers to convenience stores.
Morning meal traffic to fast food chains rose 1% in the 3 months ended in July.
Meanwhile, visits to food-forward convenience stores climbed 9% in the same period, according to market research firm Circana.
Convenience stores have taken market share from food service overall, but the morning meal has been their strength.
For decades, McDonald's and its rivals have tried to lure consumers away from home for breakfast.
However, 87% of morning meals are eaten at home, according to Circana.
This leaves opportunity for fast food chains and others.
Before the pandemic, regional convenience store chains like Wawa and Casey's General Store expanded their food service options.
Sachem Head Capital Management is pushing for Performance Food Group to merge with U.S. Foods.
Performance Food Group distributes food and food-related products across the United States.
Sachem Head believes a merger would create significant value due to potential synergies.
Sachem Head has nominated 4 candidates for Performance Food Group's board.
One nominee, Scott Ferguson, is the founder of Sachem Head.
Another nominee, Chris Kreidler, was the chief financial officer of Cisco.
Cisco previously attempted to merge with U.S. Foods but was blocked by regulators.
Sachem Head argues a Performance Food Group and U.S. Foods merger is different due to market positions.
Chinese electric vehicle companies made a strong showing at the IAA Mobility Auto Show in Munich, Germany.
They aim to outshine European automakers on their home turf.
Companies like XPeng, GAC, and Leapmotor displayed their latest electric vehicles and technology.
These companies are looking to expand beyond China and see Europe as a key market.
XPeng CEO He Xiaopeng told CNBC that the company is looking to launch its mass-market Mona series in Europe next year.
These cars start at the equivalent of just under $17,000 in China.
GAC aims to sell around 3,000 cars in Europe this year and at least 50,000 by 2027.
They plan to introduce the Ion V and Ion UT electric vehicles to Europe.
Inflation has risen since President Donald Trump announced import tariffs.
Consumer prices show increases in categories like coffee, toys, and televisions.
Overall prices rose 2.9% in August, up from June and July.
This leaves inflation farther from the Federal Reserve target of 2%.
Although tariffs were announced in April, effects have been uneven.
Goods move through supply chains at different rates.
Imports impact some products more than others.
Tariffs still have a significant impact on prices.
Record cash levels in money market funds are causing concern as the Federal Reserve prepares for interest rate cuts.
Around $7.6 trillion are currently parked in these funds, benefiting from high yields due to previous rate hikes.
However, as the Federal Reserve considers cutting rates, possibly by as much as 50 basis points, the future of this cash is uncertain.
This policy shift could reduce yields on low-risk investments, prompting investors to seek higher returns elsewhere.
The so-called wall of cash theory, suggesting this movement could fuel a stock market rally, has been repeatedly debated.
Recent jobs data has fueled concerns about a weakening labor market, potentially pushing the Federal Reserve to act swiftly.
While inflation data offers some relief, a rate cut of at least 25 basis points next week is still anticipated.
Experts predict that as rates decrease, money in money market funds will gradually shift towards riskier assets like stocks and bonds.
Wall Street had a strong week, focusing on the Federal Reserve interest rate decision.
The Standard & Poor's 500 and Nasdaq hit record highs since Monday.
Economic data and Oracle earnings boosted market gains before the Federal Reserve two-day meeting concluding September 17.
The Nasdaq closed at a record Friday, while the Standard & Poor's 500 slipped after reaching intraday highs.
Oracle's fiscal 2026 first quarter report impressed Wall Street.
The company's remaining performance obligations, measuring contracted but unrecognized revenue, increased dramatically.
Oracle stock hit record highs Wednesday, gaining almost 36%.
Chipmakers like Nvidia and Broadcom also rose due to Oracle's cloud backlog, signaling strong artificial intelligence infrastructure demand.
Finding an affordable flight can be challenging.
Experts advise flexibility for the best airfare deals.
Google Flights recommends being flexible with travel dates.
Even shifting by a day or two can save you money.
Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays are typically the cheapest days to fly.
These midweek flights are around 13% cheaper than weekend flights.
Sunday is often the most expensive day to fly due to high demand.
Shifting weekend trips to midweek departures can lead to significant savings.
That's a wrap on this episode of US Market Brief. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next time with more stock market updates, earnings highlights, and insights from Wall Street.